Hello there everyone and welcome to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about who would win in a fight between the savage Darth Maul and Count Dooku. In this video we will look at several categories and whoever wins the most categories wins the competition. For the sake of this video I will be using the version of Darth Maul from the Phantom Menace as opposed to the one from the Clone Wars or other places. Although he is a formidable fighter in the Clone Wars, he has lots of training and practice and was stronger in the Force during the Phantom Menace. We'll talk a little bit more about why that is. Now, let's begin. Our first category is who is stronger in the Force. The Force is one of the most important parts of a lightsaber fight. It allows the person in the duel to be able to sense where the weapon is coming from and be able to anticipate their opponent's next move. You can have all the training in the world, but using the Force is pretty much essential for Jedi and Sith lightsaber fighters. One of the reasons I decided to use Maul from the Phantom Menace was because the one in the Clone Wars has no legs.
You ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dane.
Yes, I know that.
And while he was still pretty powerful, he had lost a lot of his midichlorians and was therefore weaker. Vader suffered from this when he lost his arms and legs. He was about 40% weaker than he was as Anakin. Now back to Maul. Maul is said to have about 12,500 midichlorians, which means he isn't the most powerful Force user that we've seen, not by a long shot. To put it in perspective, Obi-Wan, who is considered to be weaker by Jedi standards, has about 13,000 midichlorians. Now how about Dooku? Dooku is reported to have 17,000 midichlorians, which is much higher than Maul. We can see in the movies and in the Clone Wars that Count Dooku can do things in the Force that Maul can't, like Force lightning. So Count Dooku wins this round. Our next round has to do with who has the better training. You could have more midichlorians than Yoda, but without proper training you would not be able to harness that potential. So who had the better training? Dooku was a Jedi for most of his life, which means that he had the regular Jedi training, starting off as a youngling, then becoming a Padawan, and then a Jedi. When he turned to the dark side and started working with Palpatine, Palpatine trained him in the ways of the dark side. However, it wasn't too extensive because Palpatine was a little busy being Chancellor. However, he obviously learned skills as we've seen, like Force lightning and Force choke. Now, I'm not saying he didn't have any training, it just wasn't like his training at the Jedi Temple. Now, it was a similar case with Darth Maul. While he was training Maul, Palpatine was busy being a politician and working on dozens of schemes with his master Darth Plagueis. However, I would say that he had more training in the dark side than Count Dooku did. Maul was also supposed to be a Jedi killing machine. His training was specifically geared towards that. On top of that, unlike Dooku, he also trained with a very special droid on the dark side planet Mustafar, while Palpatine wasn't there to train him himself. Now, my answer for this question might be pretty controversial, but I'm going to have to go with Maul on this one. His training was specifically geared toward this sort of thing. The third category in this video is who had a better skill with a lightsaber. Now, this one might seem like the most important one, if not the only one necessary for this video. However, I disagree. There have been many Jedi and Sith over the years who could probably beat skilled lightsaber duelists in a fight without using a lightsaber. So that is why I added all the others on the list. Anyway, as I'm sure you know, Count Dooku was an exceptional duelist. His lightsaber form, Form 2, represents the ultimate refinement of lightsaber to lightsaber combat. It was often considered the best lightsaber form for dueling, and Count Dooku was basically the best there was at it. Now how about Maul? Maul used Form 7, also known as Juyo. Form 7 employs bold, direct movements and more open and kinetic. It requires greater energy because the focus is wielded more broadly and drawn from a deeper well of emotion. Having this form and this ability to draw on that emotion definitely helped Darth Maul with his ability to use his double-bladed lightsaber. And by the way, his lightsaber, which although nearly impossible to master, is exceptional at fighting other opponents. However, despite all this, I'm still going to have to give this round to Count Dooku. His skill is absolutely unmatched and is more honed and refined than Maul's. So that's 2 rounds that go to Dooku and 1 that goes to Maul. Now originally I was going to add a couple of other categories to this video, however it was basically just repeating different variations of the other topics that I talked about, so that's why there's only 3. Now, while I do think Dooku would win in a fight, I think that it would be a very long and epic fight, and Dooku would definitely not come out unscathed. However, in the end, he would probably win. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree with me? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you, and may the Force be with you.